Are you struggling to lead your company effectively? You often think that it's the people, the resources, or the timing that are slowing your growth and causing the roadblocks. In this video, we're going to break down why it's not actually those things, and the real problem might be you. So I'm actually here in San Diego for a real estate investors mastermind. And yesterday we had a highly renowned author, Cameron Herold. He wrote The Vivid Vision. He wrote several other books, but he's an incredible leader in the space of business and entrepreneurship. And he broke down some things that really shifted the way that I'm seeing my own company and my ability to lead effectively. And it starts with something really simple, the organizational chart. We've all seen an organizational chart of our company or another company, or maybe in the military or what have you, where you have the leaders at the top, you have your CEO, you have your generals, you have the people who are leading the charge, and then under them, their direct reports, under them, their direct reports, and that shows the entire organization. But what Cameron Herold shared yesterday was really powerful, and he teaches this concept of flipping that organizational chart upside down. So you actually have your support, the main people that are actually running the business, the employees, your managers, your leaders at the top, and it's the lead, the head of the company is at the very bottom. And what that picture illustrates is that we as business owners, we as leaders, we are there to support our organization, and it funnels up that way. So it flips the whole concept on its head. And it reminds me of the verse where it says that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. We as leaders need to recognize that it is our job to support our employees, support our leaders as much as possible so that they have the time, the resources, and the availability to go and do those things effectively. But what does that actually look like? You know, he said one of the main issues that entrepreneurs face internally in their mind is systems and processes are great, just not for me. And I know that I have felt that. I'm living that in my business currently, which that needs to shift and change, where it breeds a lack of accountability, not just for me, but for the rest of my team. When they see that I don't follow systems and processes, what are they going to think? Well, why would I need to follow systems and processes? And I'm speaking, I have one employee. I've had her on our team. She's a property manager that she manages our entire portfolio. I've had her on the team for about 18 months. And we're learning as we go through, because I've never had any formal leadership training. I've never had any formal type of business management except for the School of Hard Knocks. And if you're watching, the chances of you having a very similar experience are very, very high. But systems and processes for everybody else except for me. Rules for thee except for me. And that is a culture killer, because the problem is not them, the problem is me. The problem is if I do not have the ability to follow systems and processes, one, I become yet another obstacle in my business. I breed non-accountability for myself and my team. And if we want to be the best, we must be obsessed. If I'm obsessed with systems and processes, it's imperative that I follow those systems and processes. Something else that I struggle with, and you probably do too, as entrepreneurs, as people who are running and leading the charge, we have a lot on our plate. We're running the meetings, we're taking care of this or that, we're wearing multiple hats, doing spreadsheets and building presentations and going to meetings and delivering materials, what have you. I'm in the real estate business, so I am doing so many different things at any given day. And it is more often than not that I am late to an appointment. Even if it's just meeting with Mila, my team member, my employee. If I'm 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late, but I expect her to be on time for her appointments when she's meeting with clients, when she's meeting with vendors, when she's meeting with customers, there is going to be zero. She's going to look at me and think, well, he doesn't even follow the rules. So what is it if I breed values and core values into the business and yet I don't follow them? It breeds that the team is not cohesive, it teaches our employees that it's okay to slip up. We don't have to be dialed in all the time. We can show up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes late, wearing whatever we want to wear. But no, when I leave the house, I've got to, because I might have a little bit of time blindness, I'm not going to lie. And I'm working on this. So instead of thinking, oh, it takes me 15 minutes to get ready and leave to go be somewhere on time, no, give myself that extra 30 minutes. Go be there 5 minutes early to show to our clients, because if it was a high-level client, you can bet your butt that I'm going to be there on time, probably early. But what does it say when within my own team, I can show up and have a little bit of that bleed out of those 1 to 3 minutes? Unacceptable. So it's something that I need to fix, and something that you probably need to fix, just to tighten everything down and say, this is how we operate. We have a high standard, whether it's an internal team or whether we are going and projecting our business to our community. We've got to freaking get that tightened down. So moving on to, are you growing yourself? Because if you're not growing yourself, how can we possibly grow our teams? How can we possibly grow our individuals that are supporting and really growing our business if we're not going and doing the work ourselves? What does that look like? Obviously, books. That's how I got my start. If you're watching, you probably got your start this same way. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And if you haven't read it, incredible book, but it changed my life forever. It changed the way that I thought about money, changed the way I thought about my life, changed the way I thought about business and what was possible for me. So you take that book and that momentum and you go read many, many other books, right? There's so many personal development books, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the Compound Effect, the Bible, of course, is top of all things that have possibly changed my life. But you get the idea is there's information and knowledge out there that we can go and get equipped to lead effectively, but I think that we need to take it even a step further, because when I was in the military, what they would do to equip us with everything that we had possible, so when we encountered different situations, dangerous situations, challenging and complex situations, we were prepared. And what we did is we went to training after training after training. I got a buddy in the military still, and I swear he's like the most trained super soldier in the world. Every time I talk to him, he's at a different training. Why? Because he's going into complex battle spaces. He's going to encounter things that most people will not encounter in having that preparation. Because we do not rise to the occasion, but we fall to the level of our training. And while I was in the service, I got training on communications. I got training on how to be an effective leader. I got training on leading from the front. I got training on how to deal with hard situations, emotional intelligence types of situations. So I've had some of that in my background, and I can take those experiences and I can train and lead my employee from the front. A lot of that is going to be from that upside down organizational chart, is how can I use my experience, my training to support the people that are really growing my business. And then of course, coaching. We have got, if you don't have a coach, you're leaving millions of dollars on the table. If you don't have a coach, you are essentially allowing your business to fail, because having somebody who has been there, done that ahead of you, and you're paying money or adding an immense amount of value to them, meaning it costs me something, dude, I'm telling you, you're missing the boat. And it's only those who are willing to go and pay for coaching, pay for those opportunities, are going to be the ones that will be separated from the successful and the unsuccessful, the people that last and the people that do not last. I have a personal mentor, a coach of ultimately business, but it really is a life coach. So my coach, Kirk Nace, is an incredible wealth of knowledge, first and foremost in faith. He is a servant of Christ Jesus, and that is the most important thing to me, is that when I'm learning from somebody, that I'm doing life and immersed in somebody's knowledge and wisdom, that they are seeing the world from a biblical standpoint, from how Jesus would lead. And this guy, he absolutely has that. And he's got decades of business consulting and real estate experience. And our conversations, while while a lot of times talk more on the life side of things, that is what leads me to be the most effective business leader that I can. The most compassionate, but also the most understanding of what needs to happen for us to be able to get to the next level. And having a coach, having a mentor is absolutely what's going to set you apart, no doubt about it. So training for our employees. One of the things that I'm taking away from this event is looking into the different opportunities to send my employee to get training so she can get smart, she can get equipped, because again, she's not going to rise to the level of her experience or rise to the level of the occasion, but she's going to fall to her level of training. And if I haven't given her the opportunity to go get formal education, I'm missing the boat, because I should be the one to cast the vision, right? This is where we're going as a company. This is what you need to be ready for should it come down the pipe. Not just thinking of what can be solved today, but what is the company going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and beyond. The taking the money and investing, because that's really what it is. It's not a cost, and it's an investment into our individuals, into our people, is one of the best investments that we can make, because as you're watching, you made an investment in yourself, and that paid off tremendously. Look at where you're sitting now. You're either starting a business, you've got some traction in your business, and it came from going out and getting that information. Why would we not do that for our people as well? Because as leaders, there's two things. And one of the individuals, she actually spoke yesterday. She's an incredible business operator and entrepreneur. Her name's Kelly Garrett. She runs a mortgage company, or a lending company called Rehab Wallet. It's who we have been using for years to fund all of our deals. She's a hard money lender, runs an incredible operation, but she's a great speaker as well. And she spoke several months ago talking about leaders need to have two things. They need to be able to do two things. One is to cast a vision. Cast a vision to your organization. This is where we're going. And the vision has to be crystal clear, because if not, who could buy into that vision? Who could possibly say, yeah, I want to be along with that, if the vision is muddied, if it's blurry, if it's not clear exactly where we're going? We as entrepreneurs, visionaries, need to be able to effectively cast that to our entire organization, so they will have the freedom, the time freedom, and the mental clarity to say, this is exactly what I need to do and who I need to be in order to help our organization go to where we're going. And that's where we get into the setting a culture. Cast a vision and set a culture. The culture is the lifeblood of our organization. Are we just in this to make money? Are we just in this to, build the business and kind of whatever, I'd rather do this than work a job? Or are we building something that is going to last? Because we know that 96% of businesses fail. 96% of businesses fail. So that tells me that the people in my organization who are the ones that are actually building it. Again, that upside down organizational chart, we as the leaders need to be able to support them. And the best way to support them, especially when we're not in the room, because if we're really growing this thing, we're not going to be there all the time. We're going to be raising capital, or we're going to be developing relationships in our network. What is the thing that supports our organization when we are not in the room? And that is our culture. It's culture. And it's challenging. My employee and I, we've been working separately for, probably about the last 7 months. We have been working. She's been working from home. I've been working from the home office. We're getting ready to come back together. But one of the things that I've realized is how culture has fallen by the wayside. I have not placed as much emphasis on casting that vision and creating a culture of what I want my company to look like, really knowing what our core values are and living them out. We don't have them plastered on our walls in our individual respective offices. But now that we're moving back into the office, setting that culture, what are our core values, putting them on the wall, what is our mission statement, getting placards where we are constantly immersing ourselves in that. And Kelly Garrett spoke yesterday as well. And she talked about Andy Frisella and his company First Form. If you're not familiar, it's a pharmaceutical company. Andy Frisella has a major podcast. And when you go and when you see pictures of First Form, their headquarters, their branding, their mission statement, their core values are plastered everywhere, built into tables, along the walls, in their warehouse. Like everywhere you look, you have their color scheme. Everywhere you look, you have their logo. Everywhere you look, you have their mission statement and their core values, so that their organization is immersed with that information in a constant reminder to live out the principles of that culture. And from that, you create almost a cult-like movement within your company, and that's ultimately what you want. You want people to be excited to show up, excited to add value, and you want A players on your team that are not just going to solve problems, but also prevent them from happening. C players, if you're hiring individuals, C players are going to be those that report problems. B players are the ones that solve problems, and A players are the ones that solve problems and prevent them from ever happening again. And building that culture, it's going to push out those B and C players because there's going to be a high standard of expectation, and we need to be able to lead them and support them as effectively as possible. And finally, the two things that will put a nice bow on realizing that it starts with you. It's not your people. It's not your resources. It's not your timing. It's you. It's your inability. And I'm speaking with you because this is a growth process. Inability to lead effectively. Inability to build and cast that vision and set a culture within your organization. To continue to invest not only in yourself by reading books, getting coaching, and getting formalized training, but also investing in your people, investing in the ones that are really growing the business. These two things, consistency and time. Small actions over a long period of time are always going to beat big actions over a short period of time. You know, Kelly shared something yesterday that was incredibly powerful, that Warren Buffett, he's got about $85 million. The 81 of those $1 billion, I think I said billion, $85 billion, 81 of those $1 billion he earned after the age of 65. After the age of 65. So if Warren Buffett stopped, he got a few $1 billion and he said, I'm going to retire, I'm going to play golf, I'm going to enjoy my life, he would have missed out on that other, $80 billion. Like, that is an insane. Why? Because consistency in time, investing small actions and never giving up, and then letting time do what time does. We all understand compound interest. We all understand that if we put $1 million in now, or $100,000 now, or $100 now, we wait 20, 30, 40 years, that number is going to be significantly higher than when we first started. So we need to take that long-term approach. It's even something that I'm developing here on this YouTube channel, because before I was inconsistent. Before I was thinking, I just need to get a video out. Now I'm thinking, what does 10 years in the future look like from my YouTube channel of adding value on the business, real estate, and faith side of things? So what I'm trying to communicate is consistency in the little things, making sure that we are constantly keeping a beat, because if we can't show up on time, if we can't lean on the systems and processes that we tell our company to lean on, that speaks to an issue that can't be corrected with consistency and time. It only just makes the issue worse over consistency and time, and that is a business killer. That is a culture killer. People are not going to want to work for you and with you when that is the standard that you've set for yourself, but we have this imbalance of what we expect others to do in our company. Again, that upside down organizational chart where you are the leader, the first will be last and the last will be first. We need to lead from the front, think with a 10-year mindset, a 20, 40-year mindset, allow consistency and time, the small actions to take us really far, and we gotta be extremely patient. We must be patient. Don't get distracted with shiny objects. Don't get distracted with things over here. And even at this conference, it's very challenging to say, I got to put my blinders on. I am a multifamily real estate investor and I do the BRRRR strategy: buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. You can do your thing over here. You can do your short-term rentals. You can do your mobile home parks or your new builds. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to do it consistently over a long period of time. And then 10, 15, 20 years later, I'll look up and it'll be like, holy moly, look at what we built. Look at what we grew. This is what we're after. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this video served you. I hope that this video blessed you. And if you just apply these principles to your life, being consistent in allowing time to do its work and leading from the front, it will change your life and your business forever. May God bless you and Godspeed.